Hey guys, just a disclaimer before you start this video. There is talk of sexual assault in this story. If you feel like that could be a trigger for you, maybe this isn't the video to watch. Or if you're simply going through those things and suffering in silence, I have included the number down below in the bio to some domestic hotlines as well as a suicide hotline. With that being said, go on and enjoy the story, and I hope we can all learn a lesson from it. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, I miss you guys so much. For everyone new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Like, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. So I'm actually going to introduce a new segment to you guys. You know, my bread and butter is the Nigga Chronicles, but I want to do something else called story time, because I have a lot of great stories people like to hear. They're entertained by them. And they're always saying I should tell them or write a book or something like that. So I did want to start telling you guys just some of the things that I've went through in my life that are pretty interesting. Sharing some of these stories on YouTube with you guys. And maybe some of you guys can relate, or you know what I'm saying? You don't have to feel bad about some things that you went through or that you feel is shameful. Yeah. So, yeah, here we go. And welcome to Ashley's story time. Okay. So, basically, this story is about a time in my life where I was a hoe and had a pimp, and I was living in LA. Okay. Yep. So, like Mariah said, once upon a time, a long time ago, I was a hoe, and I'm admitting it. So we're gonna rewind back to 2008, pre-corona, baby. Okay. So this is 2008. I was 19. So I had my baby in 2008, July of 2008. Okay. And so now we're fast forwarding to 2009. Okay. Something had happened, and I wanted to get out of LA. So at the time I was living in Los Angeles. I'm from San Diego. So I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And something happened. I wanted to get out of LA. I wanted to make some like fast cash. And at the time I had this T-Mobile sidekick. So like the T-Mobile sidekicks were like in, like, you know, I don't even think iPhones were invented yet or something. And if they were, they weren't what they are now. But yeah, it was, everyone had the T-Mobile sidekick. It was like the screen flip up. Then it had like a whole. Remember when the phones actually had like the letters, the whatever the keypad on them. I used to love those kind of phones. So this is like, yeah, seems like ancient history. So I living in LA. It's 2009. I'm 20. And I need some money. I need some cash. I was trying to leave, trying to move out of state. And I'm on my sidekick. And so I'm in this particular chat room. Now, this chat room was full of like misogynistic jerks, men who just for whatever reason pretty much hated women. And any woman that was in this chat room had to basically adhere to the rules that these men were setting, you know, because you can make your own chat room and be the moderator or whatever. So that's what this one guy had did. So you would just have to like say, I don't know, like if one guy was like, you're a black bitch, you know, you'd have to be like, yeah, I am just a low, dirty black bitch. You'd have to say stuff like that or they would kick you out the room. Obviously, at the time, I didn't love myself to even want to participate in something like this. You know what I mean? And so I joined in this room, and I feel like I want to say it was a thing. Like I would go, and then I would go in the room, then maybe not for a day or two, then go back. It was like one of those things. So one of the guys, because you start to recognize the same, you know, screen names in there. One of the guys. I just remember he just put like a post like, anyone want to make some quick cash? So I'm like, oh, me. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Like, remember, I'm 20, just, you know, and having this baby. And, you know, I have went back and forth from California to Maryland, but LA was a whole nother ball game from where I had lived. Like I said, I wasn't a city girl. you know. For the older parts of my life, I was in Maryland. And even where I lived in Maryland, it wasn't the city. It was like one of the richest black counties. You know, my school was in the middle of a fucking cornfield. I wasn't there yet. You know, I wasn't slick yet with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just a little green eye, you know, just green all around. For y'all who don't know what green means like you green behind the ears. Like, you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing about street life, city life. You don't know nothing if it wasn't in a book or something. Green, okay? You have no street smarts, essentially. So I'm like, yeah, me, nigga, I'm looking to make some cash. So then we start privately DMing. He sends me a picture. I was still into the whole, like, light skin with the light eyes thing then. Like, not now, but I like dark skinned niggas, you know what I'm saying? But then I was still into the whole, you know, light skin was still in. 2009, it was still whatever to be light skinned and all that dumb shit. So he sent me a picture. I'm like, okay, you know, he's cute, you know, the light skin and the colorful hazel eyes and all that dumb shit. And so he was like, you know, okay, you need to make some quick cash. And I don't remember like the verbiage, like exactly what he said to me, but I do remember like the words prostitution or whore or having sex for money. He like never said that. And I think what people need to understand, like another crucial thing about this story is for women to watch for the signs of men trying to, I guess I was sex trafficked. I guess, I don't know. Essentially, like you have to watch for the signs because there are some people and they just have no idea what they're getting into. I mean, I somewhat had an idea of, I knew what I was going to be doing essentially, but I was still just so naive. And basically what he did was he put glitter on top of shit and, you know, I thought it was gold. And so, you know, I understood he, you know, saying, you know, you would have sex for money and, you know, you would just save your money. And I would, basically, he would just kind of be the bodyguard to make sure, like, nothing happened to me. And I'm like, well, I have a baby, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, you know, with the baby, we can just, like, my sister will watch her. It's not a problem. She watches all the kids. So I'm like, okay. He made it sound just not bad. I know some of you like, how do you make prostitution not sound bad? When you're young and dumb and naive, it's easy to make, you can talk someone into murdering someone and it don't sound bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it was. So I remember one of my best friends now, who at the time we were just living in the same building, because I lived in this building and it was only women and their kids could live there. The men could visit, but they couldn't stay there. It was called, should I say what it's called? Yeah. No, fuck them. Anyway, they probably don't even exist no more. That place was full of drama, drugs, and crazy, and fights and all kind of shit. But in the place that I was living in, I only told my best friend, the girl who I was close to there, you know. This was, 12 years ago. We were both pregnant, with our kids. So, and then I told my best friend in Maryland. Okay, so I'm in LA. I told one bitch in LA, one bitch in Maryland. That was as far as the list went. So when I told my best friend in LA, I remember she was like, don't sell your soul to the devil. And I didn't understand what that meant then. Because I'm like, what is she talking about? Like, bitch, I'm not. I'm just selling a little coochie. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't understand till after I had went through it and I got older. That's what she meant by don't sell your soul. Okay? So bam, so he puts the glitter on this shit. I take it as gold. Okay, I'll just turn some tricks, get some money, and when I get them out that I'm cool with, I'll be out. Well, that's not how it was at all. So I remember he picked me and my baby up, and I was forced to give head in the car. I remember it was a guy in the front seat, a guy in the passenger, and a guy in the back, and my fucking baby in the car seat, okay? Let's not forget that. So I had to give the guy in the back seat. I don't know who this guy was. I had never talked to this guy. I didn't know when he would pick me up there would be multiple niggas in the car. I just thought we were just going to his sister's house, you know what I'm saying? So I had to give head to a complete random stranger in the car. And then when we got back to the guy's house, who would essentially be the pimp or whatever, so when we got back to his house, I was my daughter. The girl took my daughter, and I was told to go to the bathroom. I was gangbanged in the bathroom. Um, and then I was gangbanged in the bathroom, and then after that, the pimp had sex with me by himself. So before I actually sold any pussy, you know what I'm saying, was already doing sexual acts for free, apparently. And I don't really remember how I felt. You know what I'm saying? I think it was just one of those things where everything was kind of like it's happening, and you're just kind of there. And I don't really think I really had time to process it all like it was happening, because I'm kind of scared too. Like, I don't know these niggas. I'm not from LA. It's not like I was in Dago or something. You know what I'm saying? So after that, I don't remember whatever happened the rest of that night. I don't. The next day, though, I met the other hoes, okay? So it was me, this other bitch. Now, I'm a new hoe. I'm the new hoe, and I'm the youngest hoe, okay? These other hoes, and these is LA hoes. For all the hoes watching, I'm talking about the LA hoes. And we was down on PCH. So I met the other hoes. One of them, I'm not going to tell you their names. They weren't names. They were all aliases, but still, I'm not even going to tell you that. But the one girl, let's just call her Robin, okay? She was a hoe, her sister was a hoe, her mom was a hoe. And basically her mom, at that point, her mom was older, so basically her mom was a madam. So that was actually, my baby ended up staying with her, but I'll let y'all know how that happened. So that was Robin. Okay, Robin came from a line of hoes. That was what they did. You're a woman, you grow up, you're a hoe. The other girl, she was more of a hoe on her own terms. So that other girl lived with her mom, but I don't know if her mom knew what she was doing. And the other girl was going through some shit. All I remember about her was her son, something like her son had got taken away from her from CPS. I just remember that because she beat his ass with an Xbox cord. I don't know how bad she beat the nigga, but CPS got involved, and I remember they took her son. And then the other girl was like, we'll name her Bianca. Okay, so Bianca, she was a piece of work. So when I'm talking to them, they're kind of trying to tell me the rules of the game. So I told Bianca that the pimp had fucked me, right? I didn't know pimps ain't supposed to fuck their hoes. I didn't know that. And so she was like, oh yeah, you not even supposed to do all that because pimps ain't supposed to fuck their hoes. Like, I didn't ask to fuck him, bitch. He fucked me. You know what I'm saying? I really had no choice, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And so she was just like, like she just seemed like she was jealous or something like that. It's just something seemed off about that when I told her that. She really didn't like that. So anyway, so we got a little fucked up, liquored up or whatever. So bam, we go out that night. Me, how many other hoes? Was it all of us? And all the hoes go out. But I was the only bitch sucking any dick and working and making any money. Okay? So basically what it was the bitch whose son was taken by CPS. She really not in the story a lot, but we could name her Courtney. So Courtney was driving. It was her whip. She had the car. She was driving. The pimp, passenger. Me and the other two hoes, so me, Bianca, and Robin, why do I feel like I don't remember if Robin was there? But she was there. So we were all in the back seat, right? Remember, I had my sidekick, so I'm getting in and out the car because what they doing is I'll get a trick, and then they would be in the car, and then they would be in the vicinity of wherever I was, and if anything happened, I could just call them or scream or something, and they would be right there to help me. So I remember Bianca was like, oh, can I use your sidekick? And you just use my phone, and then when we get to the house, we just trade back. No problem. I knew the bitch wasn't going nowhere. I was like, all right, cool. I'm working anyway. So everything's good. I made good money, and I'm a new face on the block, and so this is in Long Beach. So I was home in Long Beach, and mostly on PCH. So PCH is a long highway. It's called Pacific Coast Highway, and it's a known, like, in the area I was, it's a known hoe stroll. Like, you can go down there and get a hoe. So I remember that night everything went well. So remember the girl I told you, Robin, who came from the family of hoes, like her mom and the sister and all them was hoes? We at Robin house. It's late. It's late, maybe 2 in the morning, some shit, I don't know. I went directly in the house because that's where my motherfucking baby was. So I go directly in the house to check on my baby. She sleep or whatever. But then I hear, like, when they outside for a few minutes, and they all come in and it's like commotion. Like, clearly an argument had ensued. I didn't know what happened. Apparently, Courtney, the bitch who was driving, at the end of the night, she asked the pimp, let me get some gas money. He tried to apparently tell her, like, oh no, we ain't even making that much. Now, mind you, every time I got paid and I got back in that car with the pimp, I had to hand him the money directly to him. I didn't get to keep $1, okay? So every time I hand the money to him, this Courtney's making a mental note of how much I'm giving him every time. She adds it up and she sees, no, this bitch made money. You know what I'm saying? So give me this off top. He didn't want to give it to her. Now, remember Bianca, the one who seemed jealous or whatever? Bianca, I guess, jumps in the argument saying, like, he don't have to give you this. Come to find out, him and Bianca were fucking. Okay? That's why she was jealous. Him and Bianca had been fucking on the regular. So he was her pimp, but she was getting the lines blurred between pimp and her nigga. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it ended up being Bianca and the pimp versus Courtney and Robin. And Bianca came in there. At that point, I had my phone back. I put my phone on the charger in another room, right? Bianca comes in like, oh yeah, because you need to choose up, like get another pimp. Yeah, you need to choose up and all this other shit because I wouldn't even be with him for real because this, that, and the third. I really didn't know what was going on. I've met all of you people like 24 hours ago, so I don't know what's happening. All of them have been on each other for some years or whatever. So she leaves, right? She leaves. So I'm asking Robin, like, bitch, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? She like, man, that bitch tripping and don't even worry about her. We not gonna fuck with her or that pimp no more. So I went to go get my phone. Phone gone. Bitch took my phone. Now, you gotta remember, the only people I told I was gonna be doing this was my best friend in LA, the best friend in Maryland, and that was it. So now, on top of no one really knowing what's going on, because when I left that building for the women and kids, I never went back there. That was my last time there. So, I had no contact now with the outside world. You know what I'm saying? I don't have my phone or nothing. So, the girl, Robin, is like, listen, I got this guy, and I've hoed for him before, and I know him, and he's gonna do us right, and do. All right, cool. We meet this nigga. Do y'all remember the movie Friday? Remember Debo for Friday? Donna. Okay, that was the music that was playing in my head every time this new pimp would come. This nigga was this tall, this big, okay? Now, at this time, I was like 100, what was I? I don't know, maybe like 150 or something. Like, I was in a size 6, like a 4-6. Like, I was this big. You know what I'm saying? So this nigga was terrified. He was scared. Even at the size I am now, this nigga was terrifyingly scary. So I was confused, like, bitch, you made him sing real nice. You know what I'm saying? You could have told me this nigga 6'8", 400 pounds. He's scary, bitch. So I remember she's like, oh, you know, this is so-and-so introduced me. He's like, oh, all right. So it's basically just me and Robin. Because remember, Courtney, she does her own thing. And then the other girl, Bianca, she's completely, she shows up. She just went with the other pimp, okay? The original pimp I was with that first night. So this guy, he sees me, he pats me down, he frisks me, and I remember he, I don't know if I had like a cigarette or something like that in my purse, but anything I had, he took. Any little, like, I think I maybe had a few dollars. She took that. I was told anything we got from food stamps to cash aid was given directly to him. And then I was pretty much told the rules of the game pertaining to LA. So the rules were we could not have no tricks that were black. So no black men. No black men. If you were at like a stop sign or a stoplight, or you're stopped outside on the sidewalk for any reason, if a car tries to keep, like, they're honking, and they keep doing it, trying to get you to look at them, I was told not to make any eye contact with that person, or they could basically kidnap me, put me in their car. Apparently the pimps have like a pimp hotline, I don't know, but somehow they kind of like know each other. And LA is like big, but it's small. It's like how, like, in Baltimore, eventually you get to kind of know everybody and you know their face, and that's how LA kind of is too. So I remember, so if you made eye contact with a black pimp, it was like you chose up, and he could kidnap you, and then he would call your old pimp and be like, the bitch is with me. Just like when I chose up to the scary Debo pimp, he called that light-skinned nigga, and they let them know she chose up. She's with me now. And there's nothing you can do about it. You just lost. You lost a bitch. That was it. And at the time, I was kind of like wanted because I was young and I was cute and I was fresh and I didn't have a whole bunch of bodies on me. And you know what I'm saying? I was a new face. So, of course, all the tricks are going to want the new bitch. And so, so I met him, that guy, and I remember I'll call that pimp like the Debo, okay, the new pimp, Debo. So I remember we got like a little chintzy ass in a motel. Not a hotel, motel. We got a room in a chintzy ass motel, one bed, for 3 of us. Me, the pimp, and the other hoe. Slept in one bed. She would sleep on one side of him, I would sleep on the other. This pimp would make me give him head, but clearly like he didn't want me to tell the other girl. And I just hated that because it's like I already have to go like sell my ass, and then I have to get head from you. And I remember he would come in my mouth, and I taste it now, and it was like disgusting, like bitter. Like, I don't know what he was eating, but his diet wasn't, So, And I feel like, I feel like he was having sex with Robin too. I know they had something going on before. It was like touch and go with them because basically sometimes you would be asked to step out the room. So we live in this hotel room. My daughter is at Robin's mom's house, just like Robin kids is at her mom. Her mom basically runs the brothel or whatever, so to say. She's the madame, so she takes care of the kids and she does all that type of shit, okay? So I would just be in this hotel room with this monster and that girl. And so then after I've already chose up with him, this bitch starts telling me horror stories about him, like, oh, I got this mark when he put a cigarette out on me. Like, he took a lit cigarette and put it out on her arm, okay? There was another time one of the girls ran away and he beat her ass because the girl tried to come back and give him flowers. I'm not sure why she would think a pimp wants flowers, but I heard he beat her to a pulp with them flowers. So I was like, because at this point, it's like, if it just didn't work out with the first pimp, I just would have bounced basically and left and went back home. But this is what these hoes do. They talk you into it. No, come here and he's going to feed you and you don't have to worry about this, worry about that. So I remember when I was with her, she did me up. She put tracks. I don't think I had ever had tracks in my hair. That was the first time she put tracks in my hair. She put tracks in my hair. She did my makeup, and we dressed like just cute. Like, you may be in some short shorts and a little tank top or something, like, but you would do little, you would do little shit and niggas would know, like, oh, okay, she on. And so I was his money maker, I was his top girl. Robin, it seemed like, didn't have to work that much. And the issue I guess, started coming in when, unbeknownst to me, I was starting to take these other bitches regulars, okay? And I was being worked like a slave. I was working like 15 hours. When we would wake up, he would give me and Robin $5. He would give us a $5 bill, and me and her would have to split that to get breakfast. So he wouldn't even give us $20. So me and her could at least both get our own combo. Like, here's $5, eat. And that's why I kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And all of this, I want to let you guys know, all of this happened just over, like, in the course of maybe a month. All of this shit happened, right? So I was just being overworked. My money was being stolen because it was being given to this pimp. Come to find out, he wasn't even paying the madam. He wasn't even paying the other hoe's mom to, like, watch the kids. He was just straight, like, pocketing all the money. Every time I would come back from a trick, he would frisk me because tricks, I'm just going to tell you this. There is a certain type of man that buys pussy. That's just not something all niggas do. It's a certain type of dude that buys pussy. And the best way I can explain it is they are all extremely lonely men. A lot of these men really, like, yeah, we fucked or I sucked his dick or whatever, but some of them just want to talk. A lot of them is like, you want to fuck me? And then I'm like, you're a therapist after, and you're talking about your divorce. One guy had all these family issues, and he was weird. He was in this dirty motel right across from us, like, even worse than the one we were in, and these Indian people owned it, and you couldn't have any guests. So we would always have to really plan it for me, like, hurry and run in his room. I remember one time, I don't know, I was down on the floor for something, and I looked under the bed. There was like a needle under there, a syringe. This guy used to like to call me nigger a lot. He was the nicest trick I had, but he definitely liked to call me nigger, and he would put like porn on. But with him, it was pretty short, and like he was genuinely a nice guy. Like, he just like to call me nigger, and he had a lot of family issues, and he used to like to talk to me about family issues. And then if I wanted like cigarettes or Snickers, he would give me those things. A lot of these tricks, like, these niggas want to take you home. A lot of time they'll say, oh, you have a child and this and that, like, you know, come with me and here's my house, and they'll flash you a lot of cash and things of that nature. But in terms of my pimp, he had a pretty strict, tight hold over me. You know, there wasn't really anything I could do without him knowing. There wasn't really anywhere I was and he didn't know, because his other friends were pimps. And so I remember one time his friend came over, and my pimp was telling his friend, who was also pimp, like, oh yeah, I seen your bitch out and she wasn't working. And, you know, she wasn't doing what she's supposed to do. And I just always remember, I just knew, like, that guy was going to go home and beat her ass. You know what I mean? I knew it. She was going to get in trouble, because you have to constantly be out there working. You got to constantly be trying to pull people. You know, the pimp's calling you, okay, how much did you make? You know, and then you're on top of that. Like, sometimes you get weirdos and you don't know what's going to happen. And you know what I'm saying? One time I got in a car. It was this guy who was a crackhead. I didn't know. And I just didn't think he was going to let me out the car. Things happen. But one time I accidentally broke a rule. Remember, we weren't supposed to, like, talk to any black guys or anything like that. So I had broke a rule, and I genuinely thought this guy just, you know, wanted his dick sucked or whatever. And so we're, like, the way you'll know someone is just not with it is when you start talking prices, the conversation starts getting a little muddy. Like, it should just be like, what you want your dick sucked? How much? 50? Okay, like, that's how it should be, period. It shouldn't be all this, oh, so, yeah, but I'm trying, hold on, let's talk. No, nigga. I got other dicks to ride. Like, we got to get this show on the road. You know, time is money. I'm a whore, okay? There's no talking. You need a therapist or Jesus for that. So this guy, mind you, this was Vice Night anyway. It's no point in us being on Vice Night. Vice Night is in LA Tuesday and Thursdays. It ain't nothing but police out. That's it. Vice night. It's just, that's not the day to do shit. Don't do shit on Tuesday or Thursday out there. So Vice night, PCH is empty. You know, ain't nobody out there but us, our dumb asses. So I remember there was this black guy, and against my better judgment, I talked to him, and then I seen he was about to bullshit. I went directly to my pimp, and I told him, hey, you know, I'm talking to this black guy, but I think he got his own hoes. He trying to get me to be a hoe. So my pimp went to the guy, said a few words to him. The guy left, okay? Then my pimp asked to talk to me again. I'm like, yeah, that nigga slapped the shit out of me. He didn't even say anything to me. And this is a big-ass nigga. Like, this is not the nigga you want to get slapped around by. So he slapped me. And we had to call him Daddy. I do remember that. We called him Daddy. And I remember I told, because at this point, he never did nothing to me but, you know, make me suck his dick. So I had told Robin later on, like, Daddy slapped me. She was like, what? She was like, he slapped you? I was like, yeah, bitch, I fucked up. So she was kind of like, well, you lucky. That's all he did. You know what I'm saying? Was slap you real quick. Just give you a little reality check, bitch, to follow the rules. Because you got to realize these were some gutter-ass bitches. Gutter. You know, so their mindset and their mentality was different. I still kind of had some innocence. You know what I'm saying? So, one night, so basically all this is going on, and things were getting worse and worse, and it was starting to get to the point where I would go to tricks and, like, beg them to save me. And I remember one night, so there's this African taxi driver. He took a liking to me. He liked me. So sometime he would call me and he would drive me for free to different tricks. So this one particular night, same thing. He called me. Hey, I got these 3 white dudes. They got some money and they just came from the Jay Leno show. It was late, right? I'm like, all right, cool. So he drove me to these white dudes. Said he was looking for a hoe. It's so surreal. So we were on a dock, okay, because they had like their little yachts or boats or whatever, and we went on their personal boat. And I remember that these men were older. They were all like late 40s, but their one friend was like pissy drunk. So I remember they were telling me like, okay, well, we want to take you to Catalina Island. We'll give you, I think it was like $1,200, $1,500, something. You know, it was over $1,000 they wanted to give me. And basically I was going to be the real drunk friend, the drunk friend they had. I was going to be his companion because he was going through a divorce. So basically they came down to have a little fun in LA. You know, I think they lived in Cali, but you know, they drove a few hours to have some fun in LA, get a bitch and, you know, whatever. So I'm like, well, I gotta ask my pimp, you know, like, y'all talking about taking me to Catalina Island on the boat. If y'all don't know what Catalina Island is, it's a really nice place in fucking California. It's really nice, okay? And it's nice. Motherfuckers with money go there. It's very nice. So they wanted to take me there. I'm like, we gotta ask my pimp. So we went back to the motel where my pimp was at, and they like legit tried to negotiate with him. They were so respectful. Like, if you 3 white men find this video, you remember that black girl from 2009 and your friend was going through a divorce and you guys were trying to teach me how to smoke Cuban cigars, that's me. You guys were very nice, okay? And I remember one of the men, he was like big, like teddy bear, like he was the quiet one. So there was one, he was like more outgoing, the drunk one, and then the quiet one. And so the quiet one, I remember, I just always remember him telling me that, like, he was like, I didn't used to always be this way. I wasn't always a businessman. I didn't always have money. There was a time in my life where I was on meth very badly, and I was up for almost a month, and I lost my mind, and I had to, like, rebuild my life. And I just always remember him saying that because I just feel like that applies to my life now, that even though I'm not exactly where I want to be, like, career-wise, I'm in a whole nother book from where I was, you know what I'm saying, during this time in my life when I was hoeing, you know. So I thought that was interesting that he told me that. Maybe he just knew that wasn't the end of my story, just being a hoe, you know what I'm saying. So my pimp said no, of course. I was pissed, missed out on money, and my pimp probably just figured this bitch go to Catalina, she probably never gonna come back. But my baby was there. I would have came back, got the baby, and then left. But so that didn't happen. So now we fast forward a little bit. So one day we was out on the PCH. Now mind you, there's other hoes out there. You know, it's not just me and the other two bitches. There's other hoes out there. And one of the older hoes, she was probably like 40s or something. She was like, "Hey, baby, you know, be careful because they out here today." And they doing a lot of shit. Talking about the police. There was a lot of undercover shit going on that day. They were doing a lot of stings. So I'm like, okay. So I remember me and the other hoes, for some reason, we had all got together and conspired to make a certain amount of money so that we can pay the pimp and leave him. Because the only way you can get away from a pimp is if you pay him off enough and he'll let you go, or you run away. That's it. You're not just going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because you're making this nigga money and this nigga don't have to suck no dick. He don't have to go nowhere. He don't have to do shit. You're doing every fucking thing. So why the fuck would I let my cash cow or cows go? You feel me? So I just remember this truck pulls up, right? So this truck pulls up. Now remember, I'm not supposed to have any black eyes. It's tricks. Now, had I broken that rule? Very few times, right? Very few. But yeah, I'm not supposed to have no black guys because they could be a pimp. But this guy just knew he wasn't a pimp. You just get a vibe, and he wasn't one. And he's like, hey, you know, whatever, trying to fuck or whatever. I'm like, oh, all right. This was going to be my last trick. My last trick of the day. And then we were supposed to go do some shit for this white boy. So remember the girl Courtney, the one that she lived with her mom, she kind of tricks on her own. She told us about this white boy that he liked shit shoved up his ass, and he would pay her like $1,000 every fucking time. And she said he had bread, so she was like, she knew he would break us off something good. Like we could each get a couple hundred or whatever, and we would just give it to daddy, and then he would let us go. That was the plan, right? So this is my last trick before I'm supposed to meet up with the other two hoes and we go to this white boy house, right? So I get in the truck and it was just all going too easy, man. I can't explain it, but you know when you get that feeling something isn't right? I got that feeling. So I'm like, this is too easy. I'm like, okay, what you want? Oh, I want my dick sucked. How much? I'm like, okay, well, how much you got? 100. Okay. And it was just kind of like, okay. And I remember he was light. I can see this guy in my mind. He was light skinned, curly hair, braces. I can't stand a grown ass man with braces. Like a grown, like you're like 35. Take those fucking braces off. Anyway, so I just think it's weird to see grown people, women too, with like braces, like you're in legit like the 6th grade. So anyway, maybe that's why he felt harmless-ish. So he was like, okay, you know, whatever. And I just remember when I looked in the back, because he had like a truck, like an Expedition, there was nothing. Like, it was odd. Like, the only thing that was back there was, you know, in the back seat, there was like a coat draped over the seat. That was it. There wasn't a penny on the ground, not a McDonald's French fry, not an old receipt. It wasn't shit that is usually in cars, okay? It seemed like this is just a brand new, fresh car off the lot or something. So I'm like, something not right, yo. Like, something not right. So then we get to a gas station across the street from my house, okay? I'm sorry, across the street from the motel. And he's like, do you want anything? Like, he's getting out the car. Now, you know, I'm trying to hurry up so they can get to the bitches. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a whole plan concocted. So I'm like, did you... You know what he's like, do you want anything? I'm like, no. So then he asked me like 3-4 times, but he's just standing right there. Like, he's out of the car, but he's standing right there by the driver door. Like, do you want anything? Do you want anything? And I'm just in there like, no, nigga, hurry up. 2 seconds later, my door flies open and they're like, LBPD, you're being arrested for soliciting. I look to my left, this nigga has his badge whipped out and he's smiling. He's just so excited that he's arresting the shit out of me. So I'm pissed because not only can I not run away, now I'm going to jail. So they handcuffed me in the back of this truck. I didn't get the police car ride, y'all. I got an expedition ride to jail. Woo me. So they handcuffed me in the expedition. I'm in the front seat. Do you know I had to sit in the car while he was running stings on other whores? So we're driving. Any bitch just walking. She could just be walking the crosswalk. Oh, you know her? She hoeing? Nigga, she got jeans and flip-flops on. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just assume, like, I don't know, do all murderers know all the other murderers? Low key, y'all got like a murderer hotline? Like, I don't know this bitch, you know? So, and even if I did, you think I'd be like, I know her. One thing is I just wasn't no snitch like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I essentially knew what I would be going up against. You know what I'm saying? So, and the first night I hoed, I got in a situation where I was walking and the police stopped me. The first night. Remember the first night when I was with the light-skinned dude and the other bitch? That first night, I had got into some shit. I think, yeah, the first night was a tester. That's why I don't remember. It wasn't too much that went on. I just did a couple tricks that first night. But I remember the police did stop me, and I just talked my way out of it. They're like, well, why are you dressed like that? It's late at night. I'm like, I was at a party with my boyfriend. We got into it, and he made me walk home with a douche. They're like, he's a total douche. Like, and that's how they knew they could fuck with me because, okay, this is this bitch first time, and the police didn't came to her. And mind you, they were watching me from somewhere. So when they saw I wasn't trying to snitch on nothing, that's when they was like, oh, we can fuck with her. You feel me? So, but that was a side story. So anyway, so I'm in the expedition. I'm going to jail. They have this crazy bitch who kept saying she's Mariah Carey. I needed to be with the nigga she was tricking with because he was in a drop top convertible, okay? So she was with this white man in the drop top, and she didn't look half as good as I did. She was older, and she clearly had some kind of mental illness. So I had to watch her get arrested as well, okay? So then we go to jail. You know, we go through the whole bookings process and all of that bullshit. And I was in there like a few days. I think I was in there, I got maybe arrested on a Friday. So, you know, you have to sit there all through the weekend. It was just, you know how jail is. It's just despicable. It's disgusting. I wasn't even in prison, dude. I'm just like where you're at until you have your court date and they decide if they're going to sentence you. And like they would give us food. The food actually had the expiration date. We were eating cereal that was 1 year old. 365 days. It was disgusting. Like no one's seen this. Like they just looked at the expiration date. Was like, take it to sale too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was insane. Yeah. So the cereal was, okay, let me not exaggerate. It may not have been a year old, but right hand to God, I do remember it was at least 6 months old. Like, I just remember I was like, I'm not eating, I can't humanly eat this. Like, it was definitely 6 months to a year, okay, for the cereal. And it was all type of trading, bitch. I'll take your apple for your soup. So I already starved as a hoe. Now I'm in jail. I'm starving in there. And then, you know, you shower. They had like one shower and we all stood in the line and you just were looking at the naked bitch in front of you shower for 2 minutes. And it was just like, ooh, I don't know if I'm built for it, tough for this. I don't know. And I was in there with other hoes because they were all running stings and their stories were way worse than mine. Their pimps would get them high. Their pimps would make them do meth or coke because meth and coke is the upper and it makes you stay up and you're working all night. You're working, you're constantly walking and you got to talk. And it's just a lot of energy that's put into doing this. It's not like you just walk down and you know what I'm saying? It's a lot. So in her pimp's name, he made her get his name tattooed on her neck. Jail was just not a good experience. I don't think it's good for anybody. When it came down to sentencing, they put us in this like one cell, and it was so slave-like because the place that I was in there where I got arrested was actually, so the jail was attached to the courthouse by underground tunnels, and they shackled us all together like in Django. And we waddled down to under this underground tunnel, and then we went back upstairs, and you were like in the courthouse or whatever. And it was just crazy, dude. I just remember they brought the bitches from the prison because they were getting sentencing too. And I remember there was this girl. Maya or something. Her name preceded her. Like, she was like a hoe that was glorious. She was pretty and light skinned. So it was crazy. I met her in jail. I'm like, bitch, you're like the hoe of all hoes. It's crazy. And I remember she had lost a leg. And I remember the COs were men. And I didn't know that you could have male COs in a women's jail. And there was this one lady there. I don't remember her case. I just remember she was in a wheelchair. She was old. And apparently she stabbed her roommate. Okay? Grandma wasn't fucking around. And she had she had her oxygen tank. And it was running low. All the girl said was, "Oh, officer, her oxygen's running low." And he straight turned around and was like, "Shut the fuck up." And I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Like, this is some insane shit. Now remember, I'm still, even though I'm doing all this, I'm still green for real. You know what I'm saying? This is still new to me. You know what I'm saying? Just because they throw you in with the sharks don't mean you know how to swim with the sharks yet. And I remember all of them saying, like, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. Like, bitch, we don't want to see you back here, and we mean it. We better not see you back here because you got something else meant for you. They all told me that. I don't think any of them belong there. Any of us belong there. But sometime when you know, you know. And I ended up, it was my first offense. I never got in trouble before, never got in trouble again after. So I ended up getting out, and the crazy part was my bail was $200. It was $2,000, but paid 10%. It was $200. $200. And my pimp didn't pay anything. Now, do you think this pussy didn't make him $200? Probably in the course of an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what that money is for, for situations like this. So he didn't bail me out. When I got out of jail, I remember I had no money. And you know what's so funny? Prior to all this, there was this guy. I was at a job interview. He was getting on my nerves, trying to talk to me, even though I was shutting him down. And then he called me bougie. No, nigga, I just don't like you. It's okay. So when I was getting out of jail, which took 6 damn hours of all this craziness before they let you out, there was this guy, he kept like leaning because we're in like single file. It's like half the women here, half the women there. And the CEO was like, stop leaning out of line. Like, stop, or I'm going to send your ass back to jail. And I didn't understand. I'm like, what is this guy looking at? He was looking at me because that was the guy that I was in the interview for that called me bougie. And I'll never forget, this is just a side note, when we finally got out, like outside and we were free, I was like, you still think I'm bougie now? Woo, that was a hell of a coincidence. I tell you, life is really funny. And he just died laughing like, that's funny as shit. But I remember I got out. I remember I went to I ran up to one of the buses. I had no money. And I'm like, I just got out of jail. I'm trying to get to my baby. Can you please give me a ride? He shut the door in my face and kept riding. He just didn't give a fuck. And so I walked from the jail to my baby house. I don't know, it was probably a few miles. And I remember I called my pimp, let him know I was out of jail, and he said that I had to work. And this was the one and only time I ever talked back to him. I said, I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying with my baby tonight. Period. I just got out of jail. You came to the jail, to the court hearing, just to do what, nigga? What, you think I was going to run away from the jail? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, like I really just was pissed. So he like, oh, you don't get smart. Like I'm gonna get my ass whooped for this one. And the thing was, the house I was at, the madam's house, he wasn't coming over there. Something happened and he wasn't welcome there, right? So I'm like, well, I'm staying here. So next day I had to work whoopty whoop. So there was he had a friend, and I'm sorry, let's backtrack. One day, because like I told you, we had to give him food stamps, cash, or whatever. One day I had lied, and I think we told him I was going to get some stamps or something. I don't exactly remember why I lied, but I did. Me and the other girl were in cahoots. So me and what I named the bitch, Robin, were in cahoots. So we was at Robin mother house. Now, one of the buttons on her phone didn't work because you know when you trying to block somebody or whatever, one of the buttons don't work. It's like the star or the whatever. The button didn't work. So when I tried to call him and block the number, so he didn't know we was at her house, he would think we're in the city getting our stamps. You know, I thought it worked. She just answered normally. He's like, "Oh hey, what's up?" I'm like, "I'm at the food stamp place." He's like, "All right, bitch, whatever." Later that day, we would know if one of the other was in trouble because he would always ask the other to step out the room. So if he was told me like step out the room, like I'd be like, Robin about to get her ass beat or something, like Shorty did something wrong. So this time he asked her to step out the room. I'm like, what the fuck did I do? This nigga, when I tell you, y'all, like I'm a big bitch, like he just came in there and started slapping me up. Like, not that one slap like the last time. Like, he's like, I'm like a rag doll. Like, I'm damn near being tossed around the fucking room. So this was like the worst physically he had did to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was crying, you know. He's like, stop fucking crying. And he's like throwing tissue at me. And I was scared. And I believe that was the same night I had to do it with the friend. So basically, there's this friend he had, and the friend, you know, when niggas talking to each other like, yeah, I seen this fine ass bitch walking down the street. She had this on. That's what the friend was doing to him. Like, oh, I seen this girl. And the more that my pimp is listening, the more he's like, that's one of my hoes. I could hook you up with her. So one thing about my pimp is like, he was definitely big on condoms. We all wore condoms. He wasn't that type to be like, no matter what they want, you know, if nigga didn't want to wear a condom, we didn't do it. That was it. But with this particular friend, I remember he was saying like, no, like whatever the fuck he want. If he want to fuck you, girl, whatever he want. If you want to fuck in here, do it. Because I guess his friend was like paying some good money for me, right? So I forget, but the friend picked me up from somewhere. We're in the car, and everything was cool. He seemed decent. He was in the military. I do remember that. He was a little nigga with a third leg. So, you know, that's one of them little skinny niggas with his dick big as shit. One of them. And he was, like, good looking. And, you know, I thought it was going to be fine. Like, I ain't got to worry about all that shit my pimp said, because this dude. So then I remember he said he wanted to have anal sex. I don't think up until that point, I don't remember or think I had ever had anal sex, even though I was prostituting. I just don't think I had ever had it. I don't remember any experiences before this. Because I do remember saying, I remember we were at the hotel, and when he said he wanted to have anal, I'm like, oh, and it's, I'm like, okay, well, you need to go get some type of lube. So he went back to the gas station, got some Vaseline, and he raped me. This guy who I thought was so nice, he dogged me. Like, I was screaming in the pillow. I was crying. It just didn't faze him, and it was really weird because he just seemed so nice, and I just didn't think that was going to happen. And like, some of the stuff that's happened during this time, I honestly don't remember because I think it was so traumatic, I blocked it out. And I don't remember unless, like, I'll smell something or maybe a commercial will come on and for some reason it'll bring back a memory I just totally had suppressed. But, like, it was just, I don't know, man. He was just dogging me out. And after it was over, I remember he went to my pimp and he paid again. And I got raped again. And that was the night when I was just like, I'm leaving. Like, I could not take any more. And it was getting to the point where he was working me so much. I'm talking, there's not a day off. 7 days a week, I'm working 15, 16, sometimes 17 hours with essentially almost little to no food. Like I said, I was like a 4 to 6 size. I was so tired. Sometimes I would hallucinate. So like I'd be walking on the sidewalk and the stoplights would like be weird colors, or I would just think I saw a trick across the street, a man across the street, and he just wouldn't be there a second later. You know, my body just was like breaking down from just not really being nourished right, and you know what I'm saying? Um, and that night, like after that shit happened, I was just done. Like it was like by any means necessary, I got to get out of this situation.